Hey, this is Mark Allen from the Business Machine, and in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about your ego. And is your ego potentially ruining your business? I'm going to show you not one, not two, but four areas in your business today where you could be making a mistake with your ego. Stay tuned. Watch out how you could be losing customers, and more importantly, how you could be losing opportunities. To this episode of the Business Machine, and in this podcast I'm going to be talking to you about your ego, or your business ego. Hence the title of this podcast is going to be known as Ergo to the Ego. Now, as a business owner, egos play an important part in any business that you may be dealing with, and there are certain aspects to your business that could be in trouble if you do not take into consideration your ego. And I'm going to go through some of these today, and what I want you to, if nothing else, I want you just to take away is to recognize that some of these problems and how you can actually use these to help your business grow. Now, you might be saying, I think, look, Mark, I'm a business owner and I work extremely hard, and yes, occasionally the ego may get there, maybe it gets in the way occasionally, but generally I'm quite good. But are you? I, for one, would tell you now that my ego gets in every now and again, and I've got a very good wife who would slap me quite hard on the wrist and say, hey, listen, that's not what you should be doing. That's not how you should be talking. That's not how you should be thinking. This is what you should be doing instead. And not everybody is fortunate enough to have that. That's what I would turn around and say. So let me just go through possibly 3 or 4 sections and where you may be having problems. Now, if you're fortunate enough to have staff working for you, and it doesn't matter if you've got one person working for you or 100 person working for you, your ego, if it's respected in the wrong way, can actually affect the way your staff works in your premises or in your business, certainly. So you need to recognize this, and if you see your staff is unhappy, if they see you're not being approachable, if you're not being open to what's there going on around them, their needs and their requirements, if you're not open to any of that and your ego gets in the way, you're going to have a problem straight away. In one of my previous podcasts, I actually said, and I mentioned that with the people leaving businesses, when someone actually leaves a job, no one ever leaves a bad job. Okay, people don't leave a bad job. People leave because of bad management or bad bosses. That's the ego again coming through there. So that's one area that you are certainly need to be highlighting when it comes to your ego. The second part is, ironically, and you may not believe this, is your customers. Again, if your customer comes forward, and sometimes, look, customers do have requests. You think, oh, really? Is that what you're asking me to do? I don't offer that. Or you're thinking, I've done all this work already and you want me to do more. Is your ego stopping your customers getting what they want or what they need? Sometimes you're not communicating correctly to your customers because you're not giving that information to them. Now, because of this is going to cause you a problem. You could lose customers, obviously, from that. You could get bad reviews as well. You could get so many issues with your business, and our business relies on our customers and our repeat customers. So occasionally it's good to put your ego to one side and say, hey, what is it you're actually looking for? How can I help you? And if it's something that you don't offer, why don't you offer it? Why don't you go back and look at it? It's a new opportunity for you and your business to say, hey, look, we could bring this in. We've got a customer who's brought this on board and says, look, this would be great for the business. It may smart a little bit. It may hurt a little bit. You might think, oh, do you know what? Someone's telling me how I should be running things. But again, put it to one side, tick that box and just listen to what the customer's got to say. It may not necessarily work for your business, or there may be another way you could do it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't be doing it. So that's one of the other areas you should be looking at as well. Our ego affects not just, of course, our staff and our customers, but it can also affect our suppliers as well. And our attitudes to our suppliers and our contractors is paramount. Now, what you've got to realize when you're working with contractors and suppliers, you've got those people working for you for a reason. It's because they're able to deliver a service, they're able to deliver trust, and they're able to deliver continuity as well. But you've got to remember that your contractors, your suppliers are just like your customers, okay, or just like your business as well, should I say, they're your external customers, and they all run businesses just like you. And because they run businesses just like you, guess what? They will have problems. There will be unfortunate issues or challenges that come up on a day-by-day basis. And if you're expecting something and it's delayed and they come back to say, hey, look, we've got a problem here or this happened, it's not because they're aiming it at you and your business. It's aiming it because they've generally got a problem, okay? And yet they're open enough to come to you and say, I've got this issue. Where does your ego lay at that point? 9 times out of 10, it lays at the point of anger. It lays at the point of going forward and say, hey, look, you should be delivering this service to me. I give you, a lot of money. I give you a lot of work your way, and this is how you treat me. That's not how they're treating you. Okay, it's how things happen. It's a fact of life. It's a fact of business as well. So again, with your ego, you need to take one step back, take a deep breath and just say, okay, what is a way around this? How can we work forward with this? And how can we have a solution? Is it the fact that I need to go back to my customers and say, look, there is a delay because my suppliers can't deliver because they have an unfortunate issue their end? Is there another way we can do it? Yeah. Another opportunity that many people lose because the egos, and I say that this is the biggest one. Okay, let me paint the picture for you. I don't know if you're into networking or you go to networking functions. If you're not, then you should be. But if you get the opportunity to go to these networking functions and you walk into the room, 9 times out of 10, the first person you bump into is actually going to be, your competitor. Okay, so you walk into the room and you say, hi, how would you do? Oh, yeah, I'm a web designer. And you're like, damn, that's what I do. Suddenly now you're looking around this room, your ego's kicking in, and you're looking around the room thinking, right, how many people can I sell to in the room? You never sell to in the room in the first place, okay? And what you then spend most of the time doing is actually avoiding this guy who's already admitted he's a web designer, and he's already admitted to you, unbeknowingly to himself, that he is actually, in direct competition to you. So what are you doing? You're both avoiding each other throughout the whole process. And that's because your egos are kicking in. Okay, it's very simple, right? So what do? You just ignore each other, you walk away, you smile politely, but the twain, well, the two should never meet. Okay, wrong. How many times have I actually ended up doing work with my competitors, or my competitors have actually ended up doing work for me? Okay, because there's going to be circumstances where other business coaches, other digital marketing companies can offer something that I don't. They've got a service or product that they can offer that I don't. Likewise, there's something I can offer. And one of the areas that I have found that works quite well for myself and my competitors is that what actually ends up happening is they become suppliers for each other, or we become suppliers for each other. And I've got one company that comes to me who's, they're an IT company, but one of the things that they offer is digital marketing and inverted commas on the plate, and they offer web design. But even though they've got the people in-house that can do that work, I still get work from them. And the reason I get work from them is quite simply this: they get too busy. Okay, so then they would come back to me and say, hey, look, we've got this work that needs to be doing, or we've got an issue here. We've got an issue here with Google on this particular site. We need you to help us out. They would come to me. Now, that would never happen if our egos are clashed and we stopped each other from coming forward. Okay, that would never happen. Consequently, we're able to help each other out. Okay, so those are the areas that you need to be looking at when it comes to your ego in your business. Okay, let's go back. Staff and customers. Make sure your staff is happy, as I said, and make sure your customers are happy, and don't allow your ego to get in the way. One of the things that you always hear is people turn around and saying, hey, do you know, I want respect in my business. I want my staff to respect me and for what I do. But respect is earned. And if you don't have the right ego or the right approach, then people will not respect you. Suppliers, make sure your suppliers are happy. Make sure that you're connected to them on the right level, and be more open-minded about their issues and challenges. You have issues and challenges, guess what? So do they. You've got to be more open about that. Allow your ego to one side, put it in a box, and allow it to disappear. Talk to your competitors. Okay, that's the biggest ego issue you'll ever have in your life. Talk to your competitors and allow them to carry on board, because you do not know what they know. Okay, there are people they can connect you with. There are people that say they can do work with, and there are different circumstances. I wrote a blog on this not so long ago, and I said, literally, businesses live or die on the decisions that they make and the attitudes you hold from the very beginning. All mindsets feed the ego. Let me read that again. All mindsets feed the ego. Business is a wild ride. We all know that. With lots of ups and downs and unexpected turns. When you move your ego to the side and place your best self forward, you create a value-based focus in the workplace. Connect you with. There are people that say they can do work with, and there are different circumstances. I wrote a blog on this not so long ago, and I said, literally, businesses live or die on the decisions that they make and the attitudes you hold from the very beginning. All mindsets feed the ego. Let me read that again. All mindsets feed the ego. Business is a wild ride. We all know that. With lots of ups and downs and unexpected turns. When you move your ego to the side and place your best self forward, you create a value-based focus in the workplace.